In December 2022, Cristiano Ronaldo signed one of the most talked about contracts in sports history. A deal reported worth up to around 200 million euros a year once commercial agreements were included. It was simple, powerful, and very clear. Guaranteed money, commercial compensation, and certainty. 7 months later, Lionel Messi chose a completely different path. Lower feasible salary, but reported equity rights, revenue link upside, and participation in the commercial growth around Inter Miami and Major League Soccer. Ronaldo chose certainty, Messi chose upside. And the answer to who made the better deal is not as obvious as it looks. But this is not a football story. It is a compensation design story. Every compensation plan answers 3 questions. First, how much should be guaranteed? Second, how much should depend on performance, growth, or results? And third, should the person share in the value they help create? These questions are not only asked in football, they are asked in executive pay, founder compensation, and especially in sales compensation. When a company hires a top salesperson, sales leader, or market builder, it faces the same trade-off. Do we pay more guaranteed cash to reduce their risk? Or do we offer less certainty with more upside if they create value? Ronaldo and Messi gives us a clean side-by-side comparison. Same generation, same sport. Same period, but 2 very different compensation structures. And that matters because how people are paid shapes how they behave. Let us start with Ronaldo. In December 2022, after leaving Manchester United, Cristiano Ronaldo signed with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. The deal was reported as running for 2.5 years. Through June 2025, the headline number was enormous, up to around 200 million euros per year once commercial agreements were included. That distinction matters. This was not simply a normal football salary. Reports separate the playing salary from the broader commercial package. Saudi Arabia was not just paying for goals. It was paying for attention, credibility, global headlines, shared sales, and the immediate repositioning of the Saudi Pro League. From Ronaldo's perspective, the public structure was overwhelmingly about guaranteed cash and commercial compensation, not equity-style participation, not long-term ownership upside, but certainty. In compensation design terms, this is a high guarantee package. The individual carries less risk. The organization carries more risk. Ronaldo gets paid whether the Saudi Pro League becomes a global top 5 league or not. He gets paid whether Al Nassr valuation rises or not. He gets paid because his value was priced upfront. And this is where it connects to sales compensation. A high base or a high guaranteed sales package does the same thing. It says to the salesperson, your value is already known. We want you here. We will reduce your financial uncertainty. That can be smart when you are hiring an experienced person, entering a difficult market, or asking someone to leave a secure role. But there is a trade-off. You see, the more you guarantee, the less directly the person may participate in the value created. Ronaldo's path was clear. It was maximum certainty, minimum personal downside, but more limited participation in the long-term value of the assets. That is not a bad decision. It is a compensation choice. Now, let's go back to Messi. In July 2023, Lionel Messi signed with Inter Miami in Major League Soccer. On the surface, the feasible salary looks much smaller than what Saudi Arabia could offer, but the structure was different. Reports describe Messi's Miami deal as including salary, signing bonus, equity-related rights, and commercial upside connected to partners such as Apple and Adidas. That is the important part. Messi was not only being paid to play, he was being connected to the value his presence could create. Messi changes attention. Attention changes subscription, and subscription changes media value. Why media value changes league economics, and league economics can change club valuation. After Messi's debut, MLS season pass saw a measurable spike in the US sign-ups. That does not tell the whole story, but it shows the mechanism. Messi could help create commercial growth beyond the pitch. Inter Miami's valuation also rose sharply after his arrival. By 2025, Forbes placed the club around $1.2 billion. By 2026, report placed it even higher. Now, not all of that can be attributed to Messi alone. There is, of course, the stadium plans, league growth, sponsorship, and the wider football markets, and all that matters. But from a compensation design perspective, the point is not whether Messi cost every dollar of growth. The point is that his structure gave him a way to participate in upside if the business grew. In sales compensation language, this looks more like a lower guarantee, higher upside model. The floor is lower, the outcome is less certain, but the ceiling can be much higher if the growth story becomes real. Think of a top enterprise seller asked to open a new country or launch a new segment or even build a new strategic account base. You can pay them a high base and protect them from risk, or you can give them a lower guarantee with higher commission, accelerators, and maybe equity-style participation if they help build something valuable. Messi's bet was not just pay me for what I am today. It was let me participate in what this can become. And that is a different compensation philosophy. So let's connect the dots clearly. Ronaldo and Messi are not salespeople. They did not have quotas, territories, commission rates, or OTE in the normal sales compensation sense. But their deals show the same logic behind sales pay. Ronaldo's deal is like a high base package. It reduces risk for the individual, but it can also cap wealth creation. Messi's deal, on the other hand, is like a lower side structure. It only works when the growth story is believable. Saudi Arabia was paying for more than goals. It was paying for credibility and attention. In companies, this happens when you hire someone whose presence can open doors, attract customers, or change market perception. Messi's structure connected him more directly to the value his presence could help create. That is one of the strongest principles in incentive design. While Ronaldo's structure protected him, but protection often comes with a cap. Messi's structure had more uncertainty, but variable pay only motivates when people believe the upside is real, measurable, and reachable. Now, imagine a company hiring a senior enterprise seller to open a new market. There is no mature pipeline. The sales cycle is long. The brand is not well known yet. The territory has potential, but the outcome is uncertain. The company has two choices. First choice is to offer a higher base, lower commission, more certainty. This helps the seller take the risk of joining. Option 2 is to offer a lower base but a higher commission, stronger accelerator, and maybe equity-style upside if the market becomes valuable. Neither plan is automatically right. The right answer depends on the job you need done, the risk the person is carrying, and the behavior you want to encourage. That is the real lesson. Compensation is not only payment, it is direction. It tells people what future they are being asked to build. So, move on. If you measure guaranteed cash delivered, Ronaldo wins. His deal gave him extraordinary certainty. The money was feasible, immediate, and contractually powerful. But if you measure long-term wealth creation potential, Messi's structure may become more valuable. His upside was connected to media growth, merchandise demand, club value, and the expansion of Major League Soccer. But that is still the wrong question. The better compensation question is not simply who got the biggest number. The better question is, which structure matched what the person and the organization were trying to achieve? Ronaldo's structure made sense if the goal was certainty. It transferred the risk to the payer and captured enormous value upfront. Messi's structure made sense if the goal was participation in growth. He accepted a lower visible number in exchange for the possibility of long-term upside. From an incentive alignment perspective, Messi's structure is more directly connected to organizational value creation. If Inter Miami and MLS grow, it benefits. If they don't, the upside is less powerful. So, the cleanest answer is this. Ronaldo won certainty. Messi won upside. Neither necessarily left money on the table. They chose different futures. The number gets the headline, but the structure determines the outcome. In every compensation plan, the visible number is only one part of the story. The base salary tells one story, commission tells another, accelerated tells another part of the story, while equity also tells another part of the story. Certainty creates safety. Upside creates ambition. Protection reduces risk. Participation creates ownership. Payment rewards the past. Structure shapes the future. That is why this story matters beyond football. It is the same principle behind every sales compensation plan, every executive package, and every incentive system. Design the structure wrong, and even a big number can produce a wrong behavior. But if you design it right, and the compensation plan becomes more than pay, then it becomes strategy. Because how people are paid shapes how they behave. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to Sales Compensation Decoded for more breakdown on how pay, incentive, commission, and performance really works.